Alright, Outlaw Radio Live fans, we are live on the air with none other than Numskull from the legendary rap duo, the Loonies. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. You?
I am doing great. Been looking forward to this interview for quite some time, man. So I know you're a busy guy, so we'll get right into this. What made you decide to get into music?
Man, my family, there's a lot of music in my music history in my family. My daddy was in the Gap band, so there was always music around me. I always had music in me, so it is inevitable, I guess.
And speaking of always having music in you, at the age of 18, you appeared on Drew Down's Fool from the Streets LP. What was it like working with Drew, and how did that come to be?
Drew didn't want us on the album at first. Like I said, we were some new guys that CNH just brought to the studio. He had never seen us before, never heard of us. And he didn't want us on the album until he heard us rap. And then, it was over after that. Then he put us on a couple of songs. We ended up doing 7 songs on that album. And after that, it was history.
That's pretty cool, though. You know what I mean? At least he gave you guys a chance, so that's the main thing.
Definitely.
So how did you and Yuckmouth get connected?
Me and Yuckmouth, we went to junior high school together. I had a group in junior high school called BWP, Brothers with Distinction. And he came to the school about a year later. When he came to the school, he said he could rap. And I listened to one of his raps. And his rap was about girls with afros called Pooplicon. And as soon as he told me that rap, I made sure I put him in the group.
That's crazy. That sounds like a very acquired type of rap, but it's Yuckmouth. You know what I mean? He's great at what he does.
Yes, definitely. Yes, right. He's actually, to me, he's one of the best flowers on the West Coast. Really.
Oh, I agree with that most definitely. I really do agree with that. He doesn't get a lot of recognition like he should. Truthfully, he should get a lot more than what he already does.
Yeah. I mean, well, that comes with a lot of problems and bullshit. You know what I mean?
So in 1995, the Loonies released their first album, Operation Stackola. What was the story behind that legendary album, and how does it feel knowing your very first album went certified platinum?
That album was just it was just raps from me and just the things that we were doing right then and there. You know what I mean? We rapped about what we were doing actually on that album, and that's why I think people felt it so much. It related to a lot of people around the world that were just like us, hustling, trying to get money, and you know what I mean. The same things that we were doing, they were doing also.
And that's crazy, you know what I mean? Also, in 1999, you did a collaboration album story with Klee of Digital Underground, called "Good Lord, That's a Lot of Drank." How did that collab come to be, and what was it like working with Klee?
Oh, well, Klee is my best friend, so me and Klee been together for all our lives damn near. So it was. I mean, he used to rap with Digital Underground, and he was a very good rapper. And I was like, man, you know what? I'm not doing anything right now. You're doing a solo album. I'm like, let's go ahead and just do an album together. That's really how it came about. We just started doing songs.
Like, I'm gonna be truthful. I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and I actually didn't know you did work with Digital Underground. So when I was doing my research for the interview, I was like, oh god, he worked with DU. Like, I was actually surprised because I was a fan of the Loonies, right? So when I found out you did work with Digital Underground, I blew my freaking mind. You also had the privilege of appearing at a few Digital Underground shows. What was it like working with DU as a group?
Oh, I was on tour with Digital Underground for 5 years straight. I mean, I was always with them. Shop G, I mean, shit, he spends the night at my house a lot. Money B spends the night at my house sometimes whenever he comes out here. I mean, these are like my true friends. You know what I mean? I don't have many friends. These are my true friends.
And also I have to say, one of the songs that you sent me, I want to ask this before I forget it, was a song called "A Letter to Tupac." What was the inspiration behind that? Behind that song? That was such a beautiful song you guys did.
Klee actually came up with that song. He was like, man, you need one for Pac, because they had called us one day and they said, Pac, Oakland has made a holiday for Tupac, and we were like, like, you know, it's about time. And Clue was like, man, let's just do a song for him, man, because we haven't done it yet. And I didn't want to because everybody was doing, you know, trying to do songs for Pac and riding Pac dick and all that shit. It's like they didn't even know him, and I didn't want people to see me like that. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really know him, but I'm doing a song and trying to live off of his name. And like I didn't want to do it, but Shock G called me. He was like, "Numb, you know Pac. You was with Pac. You understand Pac." He's like, "You and Tretch get together and y'all do a song." So I started the song, then sent it to Tretch, called him up and asked him did he want to do it, sent it to him. He loved it. He got on it, and that became that song.
Because I actually opened the show with that song, and I mean, it actually blew my mind. It was just, you know, it was such a inspirational, beautiful song. You know, the lyrics you had talking about, like, Obama and how, you know, Pac was right, we ain't ready to see a black president. Like, that was just, the words were so strong in that song, man. I have to say, I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
So, back to our other questions. In 2007, you released your debut album called Numb World. How did that solo record come to be, and what made you decide to go solo?
I never really wanted to go solo. Yuck went solo, and I mean, people they kept asking for an album. So I just threw an album together real quick. I really didn't even like that album. I just put it together real quick because people were asking for it. Me, I spend time on music when I do it. That's why, you know, a lot of the Looney stuff, we spent a lot of time on that, and that was because of me. I don't like to rush anything. So that album, I really did rush that album, just put out anything, and to this day, I hate that album. I'm not going to lie. I like some songs on it, but I really don't like that album. Now, the album I have now, the one I just finished, to me, it's an incredible album. I hope everybody else thinks so, too.
So far, the 3 songs you sent me that I played, our listeners have been blowing up the chat feed. They've been loving it, so I'm pretty sure the rest of the world is going to enjoy those songs for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So also 1 year later, in 2008, you released your second album, which was also a collaboration album called Hear This. It features tons of great legendary artists. What's the story behind that, and what made you decide to do a collaboration album?
I really didn't put that album out. That was my old manager. He put it out. He just had songs with me featured on it from other people's stuff and like that, and he put it out. I didn't even deal with that album. I didn't care what he did with it. It was an old song, so I was like, go ahead, put it out. Just do it for the fans. Not a problem.
How was it turnout? Did it go like gold or platinum or anything like that?
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you. I didn't even deal with that. I did no promotion for it, nothing. I just let him do what he wanted with it. It was just old songs sitting around, so I said, go ahead, do what you want with it. I was trying to get on another path anyway. So.
Well, at least it's out there, you know what I mean? You got them all out in the open, and then you can work on different stuff.
Right.
You also have your own label called Numb World Entertainment, where that collaboration album got released from. How did that label come to be, and is it still going? If so, who was signed to it?
No, I have 2 artists right now that I'm working with, one R&B and one rapper that I'm working with right now. But the label is still going. It's still me and my wife. We run it together. But it's independent. It's for independent artists. We teach them the game before we put them out. You know what I mean? We don't want them to go into this industry loose and not knowing what's going on in the industry. So that's a part of our label. That's how we want our label to be. We want to teach the artists, because the industry right now, they don't teach the artists anything, and that's the problem. That's a big problem.
That's true. You know, it's unfortunate how rap has become today. You know, none of these youngsters really know very much about the business at all. They just flash their money around. You know, rap isn't what it used to be. So the fact is that you're teaching these new artists. You know, I commend you for that, because not a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could teach them all, but you know, I can definitely teach the ones that come into my presence. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know, the fact is you're teaching some of them. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays it's hard. These kids, they don't want to listen, man. I mean, that's their model. We ain't listening. You know what I mean? And I can remember the days when I was like that also. But then I finally I grew up a little bit, you know what I mean, and at least a little enough to learn, enough to listen to other people who are older than me who knew, you know what I mean. But nowadays, these kids, they're not listening. Period. It's just bad.
It sounds bad to say it's just the parents, you know. That's what they always say. It's the parents.
That's very true, very true. But then we can't just blame them and the parents, because the parents are in these situations because of other forces, of other people. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna just say white people, whatever. The rich, the people who putting us through this shit, who've been putting us through it for years. You know what I mean? So it's not their fault. It's the environment that they grew up in that was not. It wasn't their fault they grew up in that environment. It's not their fault at all. So
I agree with that 110% for sure. You have some valid points there. So, also, the Loonies has a new member by the name Cuzzo Fly. We interviewed Yuckmouth last week, and he said it was you that made him a member. What made you decide to turn the Loonies from a duo into a trio? And what made you decide to bring them on?
That is not what actually happened. Yuck is taking that and doing something else. Whatever he wants to do with that, that's not the truth. I put Yuck and Fly came to me and said that Fly always wanted to be in a group, and he had been traveling with Yuck, and he wanted to be our official hype man. That's what I agreed to him being, the official hype man of the Loonies. Nothing else. So, and whatever else Yuck's saying, man, that's on him. I know what I did, and I know what I didn't do. I put that boy in. I agreed to put him in as a hype man. That is it.
Okay, I was just wondering because I asked Yuckmouth the similar kind of question, and he just said it was your decision. So I wanted to ask you. You know what I mean? Might as well ask the source, right?
I was the last decider. Yes, it was. If I'd have said no, then he wouldn't have been in. Period. But I agreed to him being a hype man, not a loony, not at all. The only loonies is me and Yuck. Period.
Okay, I personally just assumed that it went from a duo to a trio, right? My apologies on that one.
No, it's all good. Not at all, though.
So I always have to ask. Last week, you and the Loonies took the stage for How the West Was Won. What was it like doing that show, and was it a good turnout?
I wasn't there at that show. That was just Yuck and Fly. Like I said, I'm not gonna get into it right now. It'll come out later on. But now it's some other things going on that I don't want to discuss right here. But
it's completely understandable.
That wasn't supposed to happen like that. And it's been going on for a minute. But that wasn't supposed to happen like that.
Okay, that's understandable. I'm sorry. I just saw the Loonies on the bill, so I figured Loonies, right? So I thought I'd ask that.
Yeah, you see the Loonies, I'm supposed to be there. That is the problem. So.
Well, I do want to say for the record, if I brought up something, I'm sorry about that. I didn't know.
Oh, no. It's all good. I never dodge questions or anything. If I don't want to answer it, I'll tell you. No problem.
And I do, since you are talking about giving advice to these kids, I have to ask, what are some best advice that you can give some up and coming artists that are either listening to this now or on demand?
Learn how to read your contracts. Period. If you're gonna sign a contract, learn how to read it. Learn the language of that contract. Know what your publishing is. Learn what publishing is. Learn what mechanicals are. Learn what royalty sales are. Everything. Because if you don't, you will be fucked. The industry is here to fuck artists. That is what it's for. Period. So if you don't learn the language, you're done.
And you know what? That's some pretty solid advice. That's probably most definitely the best advice to give. Always read your contracts before you sign it. So also, you were telling me about an hour ago via text that you got a new album you're working on called Opposite of Poverty. What's the story behind that record, and when can we expect that to be released?
That'll be released maybe in about 3 months, maybe a little longer. But that album came from. I'm not talking about money. You know what I mean? I'm talking about knowledge and how I grew up. You know what I mean? So the poverty is what I used to be. You know, that young cat. And now the opposite of that is me. the older cat. You know what I mean? That's really what's behind that album. But it's nummy for real. It's nummy numb for real. It's crazy. I mean, it's funny. You heard a couple of songs.
Oh yeah.
You know, I got some deep on there. I got some EDM music on there. Everything. I mean, I love all types of music. That's me. And I incorporated a lot of different types of music in this album.
A lot of my listeners, they thought "Pick Apart Beezy's" was a funny track. When you're talking about the Coke can.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, I chuckle a little bit too. Like that's what I mean. Like, you know, I'm glad that you're going back to real, like, the music that you do. You know what I mean? Nowadays, rap music, there's not good rap anymore. You know what I mean? So it's good to hear some fresh Numskull out. It really was. It was very refreshing.
I appreciate it, man. And one thing about me, I will always rap about the things that I see, I go through, or that my friends are going through. You know what I mean? The things that that's about me every day. That's what I rap about, and I hate people who don't. You know what I mean? Hate is a strong word, but I don't like when people don't rap about the things they are doing, that they're not doing. I can't do that. I can't.
You know, there's very few rappers these days that actually still keep it real. So I have to say, on behalf of myself and the rest of the Loonies fans, thank you for keeping it real all these years, man.
No problem.
So the last question I actually have for you is, other than your new album, what's next for Numskull? Like, any other new projects, anything else you're working on, or even some tour dates?
Actually, man, I've been working with the two artists, like I said, but really, me and my wife, we've been doing a lot of research, man. The things that's going on right now in the world, in our country and everything, it's a big problem, man, and a lot of more people need to wake up towards it. Like, we just read that they forced vaccinated 18 million children in Africa. I mean, forced vaccinated? Why would you force vaccinate 18 million children? I don't get that. You know what I mean? If you don't care about them kids already and letting them starve and everything, why are you forced vaccinating them? And the only thing I can come up with, man, is to kill them. That's the only thing I can come up with. That's why I tell everybody in America, do not get your kids vaccinated. If you find out what's really in that shit, you wouldn't give it to your kids at all.
I actually heard it's from what I heard, it's kind of like they put the virus into you and something like that. But I don't believe in vaccinations either. It just makes you sicker than what you already are.
But it's not just the virus. I mean, it's mercury and stuff like that. How can they even make us think that stuff is good to put in our body? It's not. So why is it in a vaccine? I don't get that.
You got a valid point on that one, most definitely. I can agree with that. You shouldn't be putting that shit into anybody's body.
Not at all. People need to wake up. Stop. Well, let me tell you one thing, man. Stop watching regular TV. Turn your TV off and get on this alternative news, man. Do a little research, because the things that we grew up learning, it's all lies, man. All of it was lies. Seriously. So people need to wake up, man. Just do a little bit of research, and you'll find out that it's not what you think.
I agree with that. You know what I mean? A lot of these like you said, a lot of these broadcasting stations are just complete lies. You can tell. You know, if you go from one station to the other station, you can actually you can see the difference between both stories.
Right.
So this is the time in the interview that I actually give the artist that comes on the show just a chance to give shout-outs to whoever they want to give shout-outs to, and also their social media handles. That way listeners can follow you on social media.
Hey, well, I mean, you know what? I don't even know my social media stuff. I click it in my phone, and it's there. I mean, I think it's nummy.numb for Instagram, and I really don't get on Facebook. I have one, but all I really do deal with is Instagram and my YouTube channel. It's Nummy Numb, so you'll find it. Just type in Nummy Numb, and you'll find it. But shout-outs, man, if you're not around me, then you don't need a shout-out.
That's true, you know what I mean? I want to say, Numb, thank you so much for providing me with this opportunity, man. It was an absolute honor to interview you. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I'm looking forward to hearing that new album.
Hey, man, thank you very much. To everybody out there listening, man, wake the fuck up. I love all y'all. All right, man.
Peace. Thank you so much, Numb. Have yourself a wonderful night. God bless.
No problem.